Hello and welcome back to the grand finals of the National Futsal Series. The third and final game is the men's Tier 1 final, which sees ProFutsal London facing London Helvecia. They're back again, but it's the men's version this time. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I've seen both teams training behind me, and it looks incredible. I'm seeing skills, I'm seeing flair, I'm seeing pace, I'm seeing it all, and I'm very excited to see what this final could have in store. Would you say this is the London derby of futsal football?
Yeah, this is going to be amazing today. The intensity of this game is going to be absolutely unbelievable. And like you say, it's going to be high level, the best players in the country on show live in a minute.
From what I've seen so far, just from the warm-ups alone, the shots on target, everything they're doing in their warm-up drills looks incredible. So they set the standard high for me. I'm expecting to see loads of Rabonas, rainbow flicks, all types of skills.
Yeah, these players have got some serious ability, 1v1 ability, collective ability, and moving the ball and the shots. I can see both teams really up for it already, but this is going to be, they're fighting it out for the Champions League spot. This is going to be a high level game.
High level. Now let's remind ourselves of the rules of futsal football.
Futsal is fast-paced, hyper-technical and great fun to watch. But what do you need to know? Well, the laws of futsal are similar to football's, but with a few important differences. Here are the key points. First, let's start with the clock. It's 20 minutes per half, but the clock will stop whenever the ball goes out of play or the referee blows their whistle. Each coach gets a 60-second timeout per half. It's 5-a-side, but rolling substitutes mean it's a squad game. Players are often grouped into sets with specific skills, and subs can be made one by one or wholesale. Accumulated fouls is one to watch. Fouls generally work similarly to football, but a team is only permitted 5 in one half, and for every one after, their opponents are awarded a 10-metre penalty. At half-time, the foul count resets. Players can be sent off via 2 yellows or a straight red. Following a sending off, their team will play with a player short for 2 minutes on the clock or until they concede a goal, whichever comes first, before they can return to a full 5. The player dismissed can't return to court. The 4-second rule is one to keep an eye on too. As for kick-ins, free kicks, goal kicks and corners, the player in possession has 4 seconds to restart play. The goalkeeper also isn't allowed to control the ball for 4 seconds in their own half, but is allowed unlimited time and touches in the opposition's half of the court should they wish to be used as a fly goalkeeper. If we're level at the end of 40 minutes, we'll decide our Summer Showdown winners via a penalty shootout with 5 kicks each.
So it is almost time for the men's Tier 1 final. Michael, tell us a bit about ProFutsal London.
Yeah, so ProFutsal London, great youth programme, been developing for quite a few years. This is the first time, they've been into this level of the final, but they've got some really super talent on show. England players, Denison, one of their star man, if they turn up today, but they're going to be really intense, high pressure. So
we can see a bit of them in action here. What can we expect from them?
Yeah, well, they move the ball really quick. Their combination play, 2 versus 2, 1v1, the collectiveness about how they go to work is superb, and they're really going to want to get on the ball.
Look how they're popping the ball around there.
I know, yeah, and they've got some really, really good individual talent as well, but collectively, they're a good team, move the ball really well.
Look at this, that's what I want to see today. All of that rainbow, I mean, it didn't go in, but I love the skill.
Yeah,
I love
brilliant.
The flair and I love the confidence.
Yeah, what they've got is they bring really good in possession, but out of possession, pressing wise, you're going to see them really aggressively out of possession, like we saw the game before. Fast, quick, exciting team to watch.
Oh, let's see if I can see a goal before we. Is it going to get a goal here? Love highlights like this. Love highlights like that. Are we going to see some of that today?
Yeah, brilliant. Richard Ward there, an England player. So like I said, there's talent on show today now in this top team. England players on show, other players from abroad on show, but ProFutsal are one to watch.
How about London Helvecia?
Yeah, so Helvecia have been here before. They've been here, done it. They've got supreme talent. Totti there, number 10, can go past players 1v1. Vitor Hugo, the signed from Portugal, number 3. They are one hell of a team.
Wow.
They can move the ball.
Yeah, look at that. They're just playing pinball with it at this point.
They've been here, they've done it. They're the ones you've got to knock off their perch. They've been into the finals time after time again. They go to the Champions Leagues really experienced team. So we've got the newcomers
Yeah.
versus the more experienced a little bit.
So they're the more experienced team. Would you say out of the two, they're the most likely or the favourites to win this final?
Yeah, for me, Helvecia is still the favourites to win this, but it's going to be a close game, and I'm sure, you know, London ProFutsal will leave nothing on the court.
Look at this, look at this. Big goals, big goals. And that was a goalie.
Yeah, so Mark Croft, again, an England international. They signed him from Loughborough this year, but he can come out, like we've seen in the other games, playing with his feet.
Now, who's the key player then?
Say again?
Who's the key player in this game?
For me, if Denison turns up, their fix that plays at the back for ProFutsal, he's a different level. This, you know, 24 years of old, Brazilian-born, the best left foot passer that I've probably seen in the league.
Oh, let's have a
if
look
you watch
then,
this
shall we?
pass here, he sees this before anybody else. This is his quality.
It's all about the vision. Oh, and let's not forget the finish on that. Outside
Yeah,
of the
great
boot.
finish from Russell Goldstein, but you
So
know,
this is
Denison there again.
So he's the man that London Helvecia needs to watch out
Yeah,
for.
he makes them all tick. He's quality, he's got goals,
Ooh.
but he's unbelievable with the ball. He moves well, he can strike. You know, he's
What's
got
the
to be
finish?
on song today if they're going to get something out of the game. He's got to turn up, but what a player.
So we've seen the key person. Who's the key person now for Helvecia?
Yeah, so they brought over a Brazilian again from Portugal, Vitor Hugo, who's another left footer, and he's a different style of player to Denison, but he makes them tick again. He moves the ball well. His left foot pass is unbelievable. He can attack, he can defend, he can explode, and I think over those two players, whoever plays the best is going to run the game in a sense. There's top quality around them, but they are so key to these teams
So
winning.
the battle of the left foots, battle of the key players, battle of London.
The Battle of London, right, in Warsaw.
Now let's talk to the men in charge. Andrew Mensah had a chance to speak to both managers of both teams. So let's hear what they had to say.
Here at the final, how you feeling, man?
Yeah, excited, a little bit nervous, but that's fine. As I say, same as all the players, but I say as long as we can channel it in the right way, yeah, it'll be a good one.
Now, you two teams are like the top tier teams. Like, I've seen a lot today, a lot of good skills. I'm expecting a lot from you guys. What's your game plan going into the game?
I say we're an intense team. We'll try and make it as intense as possible on and off the ball. We'll do a lot of running today. Try and keep the cinch shorts between the players, play between the lines and outside the lines when they adjust, but be as direct as possible as well.
What I want to know is, like, you're coming into a final, you've had a long journey to get here. Do you just go out to your players and say, you know what, you guys have got here, trust yourselves and go out and have fun at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like, some of the players have been together now for 2 years, and like you said, it's a long journey and we put in a lot of hard work. That's down to them, making sure they come to training 2-3 times a week over the last 2 years. We've got to trust in who we are, keep to our true values and core values, and then maybe tweak some things in regards to the game and opposition that we're coming against. And that's really been the prep for the last couple of weeks ahead of this team.
For sure. And also, just the whole growing of futsal, like, you two teams are top teams in the futsal game. So many good players, so many good ballers here. What does this game like this do for futsal as a whole?
Oh, as I say, it's a massive platform for futsal, for it to be on television and stuff like that. I think in terms of development for both football players, and a few people won't like me saying that, but it's great for the development, it's great as a sport in itself as well, and for it now to be showcased for both really, and how people really want to use it. It is just an incredible opportunity for the sport to really be shown.
For sure. All right, I'm going to get hit by a ball, so I'll leave you to it, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
See you soon. Enrique, you're at the final. You're dressed for the occasion. How you feeling?
Feeling really happy, really excited to be here, and can't wait to start.
So just talk to me about your team getting to the final. How did you find the journey getting here? And obviously your team's a top team, so what's the feeling going into this game?
We're full of confidence. I mean, there's always a lot of pressure on Helvecia. It's always on the finals. I think it's on the last 10, 12 years, missed the final in 2 or 3 occasions. So they always been there. So it's always, obviously, for me, it's a lot of pressure to get the team to that stage. But they're happy to stay here. They're happy to show. Obviously, with the TVs, everyone supporting from the house. It's going to be a great game.
As you said, you guys have been in the game for almost like 10 years now. You've been in the final for the last 3 years. I want to know, what do you guys do to sustain that top level of greatness?
I think that's one of the great things of Helvecia. It's easy to reach the finals, but it's really difficult to maintain that level over the years. And I think that's what Helvecia has been doing since the start of the league. So it's hard work, really hard work, and commitment from the players, from the coaches, from everyone on the club.
Now you guys are obviously, I feel like you guys are the team to beat. Do you like being in that position of being the team to beat and having that pressure on you? Does it make your team play better?
To be honest, we came from the group of death to come here. We play against great teams like Birmingham, Manchester, Loughborough University, and we overcome all the problems. So we always prepare. I think we got another level. This team got another level, and hopefully we can show it to them.
For sure, I'm looking forward to seeing it today. But what I want to know, just as a bigger question, when I see the two teams today and the quality that's going to be on show, what does a game like this do for futsal in the UK and futsal as a whole in general?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I'm saying, in a game like this with all the quality on show and all the quality that you've done throughout the years, what does a game like this do for futsal as a whole?
Well, a game like this, especially with the year that we have with the COVID-19, is a great show for all the futsal community, and I think it's been great. I think the organization has been great, officials, everyone has been fantastic, and hopefully we can replicate that on the court.
I can't wait to see it, man. Good luck in the game.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
So the players are ready, the managers are ready. Michael, what's your prediction?
Oh, you put him on the spot there.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say Helvecia just. I think they've got the experience, they've got some quality. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
They're playing for a Champions League spot, but I think Helvecia will just edge it with that little bit more experience. But ProFutsal could win this as well, but I'm going for Helvecia.
Well, the teams are coming out now. I'll let you head over to the commentary box with Stephen Jameson. And Stephen, I'll hand it over to you.
Here we go. It all comes down to this in the National Futsal Summer Showdown. These two meet their date with destiny. ProFutsal London against London Helvecia. The upstarts against the institution. Here are the teams. This is the ProFutsal London squad, a squad full of experienced internationals. We saw a feature there focusing on Dennison, the number 10. He's really a man to watch. John Curran, the oldest member of the squad, has been there and done it at so many occasions. A couple of Aussies in there as well. Jared Baster has done really well. Likewise, Brian Griffin-Coles. So much experience, though, to call upon for Juan Tapia Owens. You talk about experience, though, and you talk about London Helvecia. No one has done it more consistently than this outfit over the last decade. You talk about experience, you talk about Rayoni Medina, the man, the number 9 for Helvecia. The skipper leads from the front, but he's got so much support. Vitor Hugo, Eduardo Tijerin, Lucas Totti, Ruben Fernandez. That as a starting 5 is ridiculous, and so much potential still to come from the bench. If you can't tell, Mike, I am buzzing for this.
This is the one, isn't it? You know, we're just saying this is a Champions League spot that's at stake for now. These are the best, if you like, players on show, the best 2 teams on show from this summer series. We've had some great games, we've had some tight games, but this one, I think, is going to go to the wire, and you are going to see the speed and the intensity of what top-level futsal looks like in England.
Yeah, we've talked about it, we've built it up all day, we've had 2 brilliant games. The Women's Super Series went all the way to the very end. The Tier 2 was a bit of a mismatch. Wessex, superb. But for these 2 teams, this is it. This is the ultimate. Not just the Summer Showdown title, the national title. That, of course, means a lot. But everything here on the line for these 2 in that Champions League place.
Everything is for these 2 is about the Champions League spot. This is about winning the Champions League spot to get into that competition, to go into Europe and try and fly the flag for English futsal. The big players have got to turn up today. You know, Richard Ward, Dennison, Johnny Sim in goal. You know, they've got to turn up for pro, and the big players have got to turn up. Vitor Hugo, Totti, Mark Croft, you know, Liam Palfreman. this is what big players want to come to, and the big players have to bring their big game, right?
Well, Enrique Guillen, as Andrew mentioned, dressed for the occasion. We are underway. At long last, these two finally meet in the Summer Showdown. This is Dennison with the early chance to swing his leg through it. He's capable of much better strikes than that, as we saw in the pre-show, but that's the first shot in anger and dragged wide by the Brazilian.
Yeah, I think we'll see ProFutsal aggressively press. I think their game plan today is going to be all about pressure.
Well, Helvecia are expecting that one in the first good chance for Eduardo Ticarin, the number 5 there. It was almost as if Helvecia baited Pro into the trap, sprung up into the middle of the court, and it was a decent chance for a player who scored as many goals as Eduardo Ticarin.
Yeah, it was a decent chance. Helvecia looked like they knew what it was coming, and then Romero, I think, would have been disappointed not to get that ball as a 2v1 there. So actually a first chance, but needed to do better, Helvecia there. But wow, here we go, high pressure from Pro.
Vitor Hugo's long ball doesn't find anybody in blue or yellow. ProFutsal in the yellow, and they will play from the base here with Brian Griffin-Coles, the Aussie. Of course he is with that haircut. Finds Dennison, the Brazilian, wearing number 10 naturally. This is Bastia, the other Aussie in the ProFutsal London lineup. Back for John Curran. Dennison stood up by Fernandez. What I'm sure you talked about in the pre-show with Pippa is, you know, the talent, the ability with the ball that all these players possess is almost a given. We saw the montage there of Dennison with the flicks, the tricks, the ability to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
But what we said a lot over this Summer Showdown, his fundamentals are what really makes him one of the best. His weight of pass, his vision. Well, he runs this team.
You know, futsal, pressure is nothing to a futsal player. They know how to deal with that. So they can face forward, can go out of pressure 2 ways. You'll notice their hips face forward all the time. This level of player, pressure doesn't faze them. When we're talking about pressure, if a player's a metre next to you, that's okay. I'll hide the ball, I'll move it into positions I control, and you have to do that. So like you say, it's a given, really. The thing is, in this game, it's going to be who can get their combinations together to overload.
Lucas Totti trying to get on the outside of Griffin-Coles. He's strong, Lucas Totti. Fernandez tees up Ticarin. Vitor Hugo. You see a glimpse there of the ability with the ball at his feet. Dennison doesn't think that was a foul. It looked to me like it probably was. Just left one on him a little bit. I mean, there's not too much in it. I think Ruben Fernandez made a bit of a meal of it, but foul given. First foul on the foul count goes against ProFutsal London.
Cute Helvecia there, had a little bit of a passage of play there where they moved it round, playing in a 4-0, trying to flatten out and get Pro running, trying to draw him in to eventually play in beyond.
This is Mark Croft, first touch of the ball for him. We saw him score a great goal a couple of weeks ago against his old side, Loughborough. Very, very capable with the ball at his feet, very experienced international goalkeeper. In fact, both these guys in net are that. Here's Johnny Sim, first touch of the ball for him. Bastia picks out Griffin-Coles. That's a good ball.
It's a brilliant ball. Playing 3 versus 2 against the Helvecia pressure.
Ball Curran just stepped on the ball there, teed up by Ticarin, and the first big chance for Vitor Hugo, and he probably would have expected more.
Yeah, just got caught under the foot of John, because sometimes this surface can be a bit sticky. Got under his foot.
Now then, chance for ProFutsal London with Bastia. Is he tricked by Vitor Hugo? He is. Free kick, and Vitor Hugo is probably going to go into the book here. That was a good chance. Yeah. Bastia found himself running between the lines in oceans of space all of a sudden.
Yeah, both teams here trying to play in a 4, trying to draw in the pressure to then play over or play through. And what Pro did really well was find that diagonal, Bazar getting on it, and all of a sudden he's hiding the ball as he's travelling. You've got to foul him, you've got to let him take the shot.
Liam Palfreyman comes on for Lucas Totti. The ProFutsal London players have all just been in a little commune there, chatting about what they're going to do from this set piece. Yep. This is such an opportunity for ProFutsal London to work something. We talked about set pieces all day. This is where they come to fruition.
This is where they'll be setting up something from their playbook, so they might have 4 or 5. And what keys about these set pieces is they'll have 2 or 3 outcomes from one set piece, depending on what the defenders do, depending on how the wall sets up. Interestingly, Helvecia there changing Liam for a big, strong defender. So tactically, this is being matched up all over the place.
Ivan Ju comes on for the diminutive Liam Palfreyman. It's Bastia over the kick. Griffin-Coles by the post. Dennison and Curran looking for space. With a cute little effort from Bastia. It might break for Dennison. In the end, Vitor Hugo clears, and that was a little bit much ado about nothing in the end. Didn't quite work out.
Wrong
Sims.
choice for me on that free kick. Wrong choice on Basra. Should have picked the open Dennison.
Tiharin to Ivan Zhu, who played brilliantly, man of the match against Loughborough in his last performance. It's been a good start from both teams, both, as expected, playing at an intensity which is extraordinary to watch at a close level like we are here.
Yeah, I think Pro will be happy. They've come with a game plan, 2-1-1, really aggressive pressure on the first line. They've just got to make sure they don't get the keeper out too early, but that's what they want. That's what Pro want there. Put Helvecia under high pressure.
Yeah, you're delighted with that if you're Pro Futsal London. Couple of changes coming in. Off go the Australians. On comes Xavi Corral, Jared Rand, the fleet of foot attacker, and Russell Goldstein, over 50 caps for England for the Pro Futsal London number 2. This is the thing about this matchup. There's so much experience on both sides. The occasion won't faze them.
No, they'll be used to this. A lot of these players have played at, this level, played internationally, big crowds. So it's not phasing them. What you'll see is they'll start to settle into their systems, their styles, where the first 2 minutes is about not giving anything cheap away.
Paul Freeman back on for Helvecia. Ball down the line from Tiharin, doesn't quite pick out Fernandez.
Pro out of possession at the minute are great. They're really pressing the ball. Helvecia turning the ball over.
I suppose the question is, with Pro Futsal London in particular, slightly, would you say, shallower squad?
I think so.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah.
The question then becomes, can they maintain?
I think physically it's going to be difficult. Helvecia have got some superb players, who can, and their strength in depth. So we've seen Liam come on there, professional, been playing out in Italy for a couple of years. These Helvecia players are used to this style of game, are used to this intensity.
Vitor Hugo has nowhere to go. Pro Futsal London are putting it on him, and look how much it means to Jared Rand. He's a real tricky, almost orthodox winger-style player, but he can do the dirty work as well.
Quick, fast, loves defending, but also when he's on possession of the ball. Again, if he has a good game today, Pro will be having a good game.
Dennison tries to hit the second post, blocked, and here come Helvecia in transition with Tiharin. Look at the pace of him. Shot comes in off the post and wide. Closest to either side has come, and that was a frightening change of pace from Eduardo Tiharin.
Yeah, there's that Toto, we know.
Oh, and how close at the back post was Fernando Malta to getting on the end of it with his first touch.
What you'll see is in transition, these guys know what they're doing. If they sniff a bit of transition, they'll go and create a chance off it.
Rand with a lovely pick out to Xavi Corral. That's nice for Goldstein. It's a great challenge by Malta. Oh, the decision goes against Pro Futsal London. Russell Goldstein cannot believe that.
Helvecia just building a little bit better with the ball at the minute. So Pro Futsal are doing well without the ball, but in a way, Helvecia are actually building at times with the ball quite well.
Rand keeps it in, great touch. He's got Xavi Corral with him. Might decide not to use him. Tries to take on Vitor Hugo, who just shepherds him out with all of his experience. But we saw in his VT before the start of the show, he's got some serious physical strength about him as well.
Pro Futsal just need to settle into their own game plan, whether they're playing with pivot as Xavi and 3-1, or whether they're going to play as a 4 and false pivots. They've not really settled into with the ball yet, which they're used to having a lot of the ball.
Mark Croft in the left wing position as the fly goalkeeper. He's going to trot back now.
Whereas here, Helvecia seem a little bit more comfortable. 3-1, Vitor Hugo driving, cutting, back into the 3-1. They're trying to build something, a sustained possession, if you like, with the ball, but still tough for them.
Pro Futsal like that. A lot of support from the bench there. They will get loud. Richard Ward makes his first appearance in the grand final, who scored the winner against Bolton, that brilliant winner we saw when he took it around Stuart Cook. I'm sure he's let him know about that since that game.
Yeah, and so Richard Ward will probably play as that top man, that forward, that pivot, and they'll try and hit him because he's really effective at spinning and holding it up, and then players try and join him in. They're a bit upset at the moment with things not going their way, but they've got to keep calm, keep their heads.
Yeah, you couldn't wish for a more experienced referee than Mark Burkitt, who won't fall for any of the antics that these seasoned pros will try and put on him. Croft looks to release Malta, but doesn't find its mark. And it looks like already there's a little word about to be said here between Burkitt, Polfram and Curran. Those are two players there that are some of the nicest guys off the court you'll ever meet, but on the court, they are animals.
It's about winning, the guys know each other from England days, but it's about winning. what we saw from Helvecia there was a little bit of class when they moved it in between the lines. They bopped it in and out in their final third to build to play face forward. You know, that's where they're really experienced. In these positions here, they'll look to build.
Listen, a rare clock that one up. Error from Vitor Hugo. ProFutsal London ball. The Jared Rand over this one. Now John Curran. That pass wasn't really on. He's telling Goldstein to move it along down the wing.
Yeah.
Rare breakdown of communication between those two really experienced players. They've known each other for years.
Yeah, what they're doing, Pro, they don't want to play too much in their own third, which you can understand. So they want to move the ball, one cutting through, and then another one going for the long diagonal.
Mark Croft, now error, and Richard Ward's on it. 1v1 on the keeper. Can he find the goal? He tries to square it to Rand. It's behind him, and that was a real opportunity. Mark Croft got away with one.
Yeah, wow, that's a big chance. I actually think Richard Ward should have struck it himself with Mark Croft being out the goal and tested the person on the line.
First touch of the ball there for the Helvecia skipper, just coming on, Rayani Medina. One of England's great servants. It's a little bit of a loose one. This falls from Medina, whistle blows, and that goes against Tijerina, I think. Goldstein staying down. He got a real whack on his ankle there. Yeah, that's late. That's a little naughty.
Yeah, he's left that in on Russell Goldstein there. High pressure. He felt like
I'm glad you've said that.
Well, he did, didn't he? You know, let's be honest. We knew it was going to get lively. We knew it was going to be competitive because everything's on the line. But you know, both teams here. What's really interesting for me is like they're both pressing really aggressively. We said it was going to be hard out of possession for teams to build their attack. You know, as the game goes on, you'll probably see longer periods of possession as teams tire. But at the minute, both out of possession teams for me are on top.
Let's have another look at this challenge. It was tasty, shall we say, from Tikiri. Medina's eyes lit up for a moment, but he's not going to have a chance to add to his tally of goals for this Helvecia team. He scored over 300 down the years, Rani Medina.
I think there's a misconception that futsal isn't physical. You know, you see this, it's physical. You have to be strong, you have to be fast, and you have to be able to deal with a ball. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Tolly Chatunye is on. He's on the ball now for ProFutsal London. He made a real difference in their game against Bolton. And that's why, terrific pass. Jared Bastia back on the Aussie. Claudio Ribeiro there, the number 11 for Helvecia, is on the court. Croft put under immense pressure. And again, ProFutsal London just leave one on him.
That might be because of someone at the before tackle, but I don't think he means that, you know.
Yellow card coming out for Tolly Chatunye.
You can feel the emotion in this game, can't you? You can feel the intensity, the emotion that's being played out here. What was really good then, Pro, they shortened the pass into the pivot, so I think it was Basra came in short, linked the play. I think ProFutsal need to do a bit more of that if they're going to get more of the ball.
I think there's some genuine concern here for Mark Croft. Just looking at the replay there, it wasn't the impact that I thought it was. I think he catches it on the knee, which will be a concern. Those are really painful, and obviously for a goalkeeper, really important. Let's have another watch of this here. Chatunye has every right to go for it. It wasn't the foot that I thought. It's a really nasty one. And you know, initially thought it was sort of a tit for tat, but actually for Mark Croft, I think this is a real worry. He's been a brilliant player for Helvecia.
Yeah, he's superb. You know, he's quite very experienced now. Played, you know, #1 for England for most of the time in the programme. Been up against big nations. Played professionally as well in Italy for a few seasons. Now back home with Helvecia, but he can start attacks, he can finish attacks, his shot stopping is superb. So this will be a huge blow. We were talking about how important goalkeepers are throughout the day, and this could be a huge blow for Helvecia's challenge.
And that's Dimar Blanco, the substitute keeper for Helvecia. We've seen him used pretty much in every game, actually. Mark Croft usually gets a rest towards the end of the games. Dimar Blanco is a really talented keeper in his own right, and he's more than comfortable with flying as well. He does that really, really well. So in that sense, it is a straight enough swap, but there's no doubt Mark Croft's sort of, you know, pedigree as a keeper is unmatched really for Helvecia.
Yeah, I don't know, he looks like he's walking okay. It might be just a quick change to have a look at him. I think, you know, the reserve keeper is Dimar. He's good, but he's not got the attacking feet that Mark Croft has. He's still learning that bit of his trade. So that, yeah, it's a blow because he's such a pivotal part to how they want to play.
In comes Dimar Blanco then in goal for Helvecia. Vitor Hugo over the free kick, 2 fouls apiece. 5.5 minutes played. Here's the first touch of the ball for Dimar Blanco. Told you wouldn't mind getting forward. Told you. Now then, do they fancy catching them out of goal? Satunye challenged by Medina. Looked like he got the ball to me, he did. Decision goes ProFutsal London's way. That looked like it came off Satunye to me, but I'm not getting involved in such qualms.
What you saw there from Pro, it seemed like they let Dimar have the ball down one side and then all of a sudden, you know, went across and really closed it. So in a way, set the trap. So what you'll see is sometimes, and Pro were doing it, what they did, they set the trap. They said, if you want to give it your keeper there, what we'll do, we'll let you have it, and then we'll come and press it down the corner, and we'll try and get the transition where it nearly came off.
Well, Croft's back in, but he didn't want to miss a minute. And in the end, he doesn't quite miss as much as that. It's his javelin throw out towards Medina, who will get on the end of this. Shot comes in on the turn. Even for a man of Rowney Medina's prodigious goal-scoring talent, that was difficult. ProFutsal London can't launch the counter, but the pressure from Ward, and you can see there's a little bit of chatter back and forth. I'm not sure how good Richard Ward's Portuguese is, but it's going to need to be pretty good to get through to Vitor Hugo. But I think whatever happens,
speaks 3 languages, so generally I actually think
he does.
No, but this is where you know, Pro have got to get calm. They've got to do their set pieces from their playbook.
It's going to be a corner kick from the shot from Richard Ward, who has been so impressive for this ProFutsal London team. Score of so many good and important goals. Bastia teased up. Ward will have another crack. There's Satunye! What a save by Croft! How on earth has he kept that out on one knee?
Have we got VAR here or not? I don't know. That looked to me he was hooked it out, but what a save that is. Great set piece.
Ridiculous. Throws it long, Sim reads it, manages to keep himself in bounds in the D as well. Here comes the intensity with Brian Griffin-Cole, steps inside of Medina, who robs him. That's clever for Ribeiro, well read by Satunye. Steps away from Medina, and now come the transition with 3v2. Has Bastia outside him, does he need him? Satunye releases, and Croft is out there again in front of Ward. This is what we came to see, as advertised.
Yeah, Satunye there's done everything right. Great save by the heel, and then this second save here, as he's hooked it out. What a save!
That's outrageous. On one leg still.
No, he's okay, I think. That counter-attack, electric.
It's teed up for Dennison. He's back in the game. Being challenged by Ribeiro. Doesn't want to go all the way back, but he's forced to. It's good pressure from the former London Genesis man for Helvecia.
ProFutsal are going to struggle to get out here. The 2 split.
That's a good ball though. Read by Vitor Hugo in front of Satunye.
So they went into a 2-2 for a period, and you don't want to be 2-2. It's too easy to defend against in a 2-2. You need players in behind the lines. You need a 3 or a 4 to try and build.
Now then, 2v2 here. Satunye decides to delay and build from base. This is Dennison. Satunye can be stood up by Paulson. That's a decent looking ball to the back post. Griffin-Coles couldn't quite rise high enough.
Yeah, here's that save again.
Oh, it's ridiculous. He does so well to claw that out.
It's double save off his heel. Brilliant.
The foul not given. It did look incidental.
Oh,
Bastia,
that's decent.
Dennison. Griffin-Coles was strong. Can't find a way out though. And it could be in here for Claudio Ribeiro. Foul's going to be given. Ruben Fernandez wore one after the ball went. We talk about intensity. This is exactly what it's all about. Tempers are starting to fray, emotions running high, there's so much on the line here.
Yeah, and they know once that ball gets played into the middle and bounces out, and they've created that overload, they've created if you like, a horizontal 2v1 or a horizontal 2v2, and it's open, they know when they need to make the foul because they've got to stop that attack. So quite clever, cute foul.
Ribeiro, that's nice. One there by Bastia. Now can they break? Christian Edwards is on the overlap. He's just come in for ProFutsal London. Griffin-Cole's going to strike it himself, blocked by Helvecia, and Tijerin runs it out. And then pressuring back is Dennison. And again, words exchanged. These two teams know each other so well.
It's a London derby as well at the same time. So, no, but they're all on it, aren't they?
And they will never ever admit it off the court, but on court, this is a rivalry. Both teams deny it when you chat to them off the court. But this matters.
Overlap.
Here comes Dennison. Instant control. Tried to put it through the legs of Vitor Hugo. He's a brave man, but he's coming around the other side of it. Cross goes across, and Team Heading defends and squares him up.
Wow, what was clever there, as you saw from your own D into attacking D, Dennison saw the overlap, went overlaps, made it a 2v1 on the wide area, and then nearly got into the D and got a second post shot to cross, if you like. But the electric pace from front to back is what this is all about.
Dennison tees it for Curran. Blocks, and it'll be a ProFutsal London kicking on halfway. And you know, Dennison versus Vitor Hugo is a matchup we've wanted to see for so long, since the summer showdown began, really, and those two really stood out as the standout players. You called them a couple of weeks ago the cultural architects of both teams. They set the standard.
Yeah, here we go, that pass again. You know, when they're on their game, and when Dennison's finding his passes through, like we saw there, just overloaded in the middle, bounced out, diagonal, they find them. What it does, it gets them up court, and then all of a sudden, you know, like now, Helvecia are going to have to defend the kicking. It's about keeping the pressure on. And I think what we're seeing slowly here is a momentum shift where Helvecia are doing really well with the ball. And it seems like Pro now are doing that a little bit better with the ball, and Helvecia are having to defend long periods.
Edwards with the kicking, tries to feed the second post, and Dennison. Fernandez should be able to run this out. He'll take the kicking.
What you won't see, I don't think, as much as we saw in the other games, is positionally, they know where their danger areas is. So Vitor Hugo there just stands positionally defending, knows he's got to cover the back post. If they try that, he's there all day. That's what I think you get at this level. Positional defending, positional attacking is of a level that we haven't seen so far.
Current turns, feeds Edwards. That's a little bit of a loose ball. Don't think Johnny Sim can touch that, but he'll just shepherd it out, and Paul Freeman shoves him over. He should know better than that, Liam Paul Freeman. He's been suckered in there.
Yeah.
Yellow card. Johnny Sim has played him like a fiddle.
Yeah, Johnny there.
Shake of the head from Paul Freeman. I think he realises he's been played.
I think Liam wanted to get it quick. Sometimes you want to get it quick and play because people are out of position. So he wanted the ball, but I think Johnny Sim knew exactly what he was going to try and do. It's a soft one, and you know you don't want to do that in the first half, because you get one mistake wrong at this level, in this intensity, you're going to see a 4v3. So a few cards being dished out here.
Fed to the back for Vitor Hugo to try and hit the second post. Dennison's going to hit the roof. That'll be a Helvecia ball from the kick-in. Worth pointing out as well, the foul count doesn't change for that. That's sort of classed as unsportsmanship. It doesn't go down on the foul count. So still 3-2. Remember, both teams only allowed 5. If they hit a 6th, then they will incur a 10-metre penalty. 11 minutes remaining. Vitor Hugo now hits the roof. ProFutsal London ball.
I think ProFutsal are just getting it, just edging it for me at the moment. They're just getting on top without a possession, pressing really aggressively. And Helvecia have lost their momentum a little bit here, which they had. We saw them in this half a lot more.
Another thing that I feel is worth mentioning is we've got a little bit of a crowd in today. Obviously, the Helvecia girls have stuck around to cheer on their club mates. A few friends and family up from the ProFutsal London group as well. And there is that little bit of atmosphere, and what a difference it makes.
Yeah, it's great. You know, we'd all love to see this full, you know, with people watching can't at the moment, so there's only a smaller crowd due to the restrictions. But yeah, live indoors, I would say, you know, like indoor sport with, you know, 1,000 is like listening to 10,000. It's crazy. What you'll see here is set plays again playing out what we call press breakers. We saw that just before from Johnny Sin into Dennison. So set moves from the keeper so they can get out of pressure.
Fernandez does that so well on the edge of the D. He's just pinning Dennison. Paul Freeman. Vitor Hugo looking for a way through. He shifts. Curran does really well to track him. Yeah. You just see the fans there at the bottom of your screen. They are very much from a ProFutsal London persuasion, and they are letting the Helvecia players hear it.
It was just, wasn't it? He just got past him, and John Curran managed to get back quickly.
That's a poor ball from Vitor Hugo. Here comes Rand. Has Goldstein in support, so too Curran. Back to Rands. Oh, couldn't quite transfer it onto his back foot. What he was trying to do. Touch the ball for Mark Croft.
Helvecia playing as a 4 here. Little triangles, so they're trying to create the triangles to overload the first line of ProFutsal, which they're doing well.
Fernandez plays so well in that pivot position.
Yeah. They're trying to move the ball to get some, to sort of try and reduce the pressure to then find those forward passes into the pivot. Again here, just
Oh, that's a risky one. Goldstein beats him to it. Goldstein and then Current, can he go around the goalkeeper? No. And Helvecia survive another scare. Ruben Fernandez has stayed down, referee will stop the play. There's been a couple of moments for that for Helvecia, where they've just been caught standing on the ball, and I think that's to do with the new court. It's a little bit slower than what they've been used to on the hard court.
Yeah, so interestingly, like people say, oh, it's, you know, what's courts now? This court's great, but the wood surface is really fast, so it's like playing on a wet grass surface. Sometimes this surface, you know, some players like it, some don't. It can be a bit sticky, but you know, because they haven't trained on it so much, it might be just that little bit of fraction slower. For the purists out there, I'm talking about now.
A couple of times you've seen it, players just stood on the ball, and that little change of pace can make all the difference, and when you're the last man, it can make every bit of difference. Rand won't get around Ivan Zhu.
Great little passage there from Pro, just trying to play through Richard Ward, Jared Rand as a two, you know, dualities or 2 versus 2s or plays as 2. So the combinations are the thing that's going to open this game up. Either a 1v1 player that goes past somebody to open up defensive structures, or a 2v2, 2v1 in their bigger systems, if you like.
First 10 minutes have gone by. They haven't flown by because it's been very stop-start. Both teams have manipulated the clock. Here comes Ivan Zhu. Dennison. Dennison, can he pick the pass? Not quite. Feeds Rand though. And Rand's almost picked out Goldstein. You can see what he was trying to do, but by the time he played it, Goldstein had moved.
I think in that transition moment, you'd be better just moving it out of pressure and building again. He's just landed on it. He's trying to force that. I don't think he needs to force it as much.
Another change has come in for Helvecia, just in the middle of the court now. Just moving out of your picture is Guilherme Monti, who's just come on.
Very skillful left footer.
Zhu wins the header. Tijerin through the legs, that's clever. Fernandez, wonderful feet. Oh, and he rattles the outside of the post. I'm not sure there was a way past Johnny Sim there, who flew out at him.
Wow, I was just about to say, Johnny Sim, if you want to show how to stand up and make it hard for the attacker, the only place the attacker could have put that is the top right corner, because the way Johnny Sim came out with his knees, he protected the near post, and what you saw, he had to move it offline. So I would say great goalkeeping from Johnny Sim there.
Ruben Fernandez, such a clever player, manipulates the ball and his body so well. That's a loose pass though. Richard Ward wants a free kick, he's not getting it. Ivan Zhu, Fernandez.
That's where Fernandez will just join the game as the pivot, try and connect the game, and then try for the out ball, but...
Well, it didn't hit the roof, so play continues. It went through a couple of rafters, mind. Richard Ward trying to get around the other side of Tijerin.
Just needs to beat the
ball. Gets rid.
Richard Ward there just needs, in this level, just needs to come down the ball, protect it, you know, look after that as Johnny Sims fired it into him, rather than waiting for that, because Deju, you know, strong, he'll step in front.
Fernando Malta is back on, number 12. Big unit. A couple of big players on the court right now for Helvecia and Malta and Zhu. Real physical specimens, and just goes to show, you know, you can be a Russell Goldstein, Liam Poultrin, but you can also be an Ivan Zhu or a Fernando Malta. It doesn't matter, they all have their benefits.
Yeah, one is you have to be decent with the ball. You have to know your own body to look after it and be physical.
Oh, breaks it for Monti, saved by Sim. Monti again, blocked away. Malta won't get there. Goldstein clears.
And you have to be physical, but it can be a game for a passer and mover. It can be a game for a 1v1 baller, and it can be a game for a physical player.
Tijerin. You can just see there how a game can change in an instant. Corner kick, Helvecia.
Malta here, I think, you know, as a strong pivot, he's causing all sorts of problems for Pro. So the dynamics changed a little bit now, because Malta, they're playing as more of a 3-on-1, 2 wingers in Motti, and going to more of a fixed pivot. And what that's doing is pinning Pro back, and they can find that out ball a lot easier.
Richard Ward trying to be the out ball, goes down again, referee waves it away. Do think that was a good challenge by Monti. Play continues, here's Malta. Can't get past Randall, can he? There's Tijerin, round the keeper, off the line by Goldstein, who celebrates that like a goal, which it basically is.
I was just saying, Fernando Malta is the key man here, as that top player, the number 12, the pivot. What he's doing is connecting the game so Helvecia can build into the middle, and then at the...
Oh, and Malta very nearly got across the front post there.
And in the final phases, he's a danger. He'll hold it up, he's strong, he'll spin. He's making a difference here in the Helvecia attacks for me.
Yeah, Rand a little bit urgent, a little bit stressed there. 4 on court now for ProFutsal London, led by Xavi Corral, Jared Rands, Richard Ward and Dennison at the fixed position.
Here he is again.
Here is Malta. I think Xavi Corral's been brought on to deal with the pressure of Fernando Malta. That's clever from Rand now. 3 on 1, can he beat 2 challenges? What a challenge by Guilherme Monti. That is a tackle that any defender in the world is happy with.
So you have to be able to attack, you have to be able to defend. What a chance this was, cleared off the line by Russell Goldstein. But Jared ran there, so brilliant. What you might see is Jared run off and have 2 options on that, so clever little set plays again. It looks like he's going to take it, puts it down and then runs away.
How well does Johnny Sim do here? He forces him to do that, just buys a little bit of time, doesn't he?
It's underestimated how well he's doing in those moments, Johnny Sim, at the moment.
Corral just fires into the hands of Croft, fired into the foot of Malta. How precise was that? A spear from Mark Croft.
Yeah. And you know what, onto his left foot, exactly where he wants it, so he can roll if he can, so starting attacks again. Brilliant distribution.
This has been frenetic. Tolu Satunier is back on, over on the far side. Jared Badger being prepped to come on too. Tried to feed it into Corral, who gets around Ivan Zhu. My goodness me, he's done well to maintain possession there, the Spaniard. This is John Curran. Richard Ward just tries to break the press and finds Corral with a lovely ball. Zhu all over the back of him. Just wonder how much of that is strength and how much that gets penalised. It is, in the end, given as a free kick, and well, in fact, it's gone the other way, actually. I thought it was given as a free kick. Looks like it's going to be a Helvecia ball. Xavi Corral can't believe it.
Yeah.
That was the tackle a moment ago for Guilherme Monti.
Oh,
what a challenge.
It was last
goal saving.
If he'd not made that, it was a 3 versus a keeper. No doubt Pro would have put that in the back of the net. So it is a goal saving last ditch. Again here, Pro look 2-1-1 defending.
Malta even couldn't direct his header. It's another good pick out by Croft.
Great defending. We'll talk about defending. You need 3 lines of defence. So your first line is, if you like, the pressure line, go after it. Second line's the cover, and then your third line is the ones that clear up and go against the pivot with your keeper as the alternate. Both teams showing that system today.
Xavi can't get through, and he's stopped by Monti. I think it's a foul by Xavi Corral in the end. Those fouls are just starting to mount up for ProFutsal London. 6 minutes left, and they're now going to go up to 4, I believe. Yeah, there it comes, up on the scoreboards in the venue. 4 fouls for ProFutsal London. They're only allowed 1 more before they're in trouble.
Yeah, I think, you know, as teams start to get a little bit tired towards the end of this half, they've got to be careful not to make silly fouls. Some fouls you're going to have to make for the good of the team, but not make the silly fouls.
Oh, and Malta stands on it. He does pretty well there. I think he's done the right thing. He might give away the free kick, but he's got to stop the counter happening there, and just by obstructing it, gives the free kick away, but he had to.
Yeah, he had to stop that again, because, you know, ProFutsal swarming all over that. Again, just stuck a little bit with the ball and surface.
There is John Tapia-Owens, or Juan Tapia-Owens, depending on which language you're speaking to him in, the dual nationality coach of ProFutsal London. Actually played under his opposite number today. Enrique Guillen was the manager of Oxford City. One of his charges was a young Juan Tapia-Owens. Those two know each other very, very well. There's a lot of mutual respect between the pair of them, but today there is a very, very real sort of rivalry between them. They both are desperate to win this game. Tolu Satunier for ProFutsal London.
Brilliant from Pro. Brilliant from Pro. Overload in the first line. Graf came back to make it a 3 versus 2, and all of a sudden they've got out of that high pressure. Brilliant there.
Great ball again from Satunier. Here comes Griffin Coles. Tries to feed in towards Curran. Read by Guilherme Monti. And Curran all over him. So this has been a very, very even half.
Just saw a passage by Pro there, just show you how you get collectively. We talked about combination, you combined in terms of getting out of the pressure.
Ball long towards Malta, who just heads it up rather than out, and Satunier doesn't take any chances.
Yeah, Malta's asking it, I want it chest. I want you firing into my chest, because he feels like he can win the physical battle, and they're up court. Again here, 3-1, Motti inverted, left footer, looking for that one in the middle.
There it was. Griffin Coles with the block. It's fed rather to Vitor Hugo. Curran does well to block the run. Malta around the corner. Vitor Hugo applauds the idea, not quite the execution they were looking for. Goldstein's going to come back in.
So what you see is Fernando Malta here playing as a pivot. You'll see Monty as an inverted left, Liam Pelthyman as an inverted right trying to fire him, and then Vitor Hugo trying to find that central pivot as well. 3-in-1 system. They've changed the system a little bit.
They do that really well, actually, with not just Malta, but also Rayoni Medina, who loves that role.
Yep, he's another fixed pivot, if you like, whereas Fernando Malta plays on this side of the court a little bit more, so he can spin inside and out.
Johnny Sim with a bit of time. Only 4 seconds, mind. There's Goldstein to Griffin Coles. 2 Aussies back on the court for ProFutsal London. Here's Tunye, how about that for feet? Bait and switch. They've all got it. Might not always see it, but they've all got it. Now then, in transition to Tunye with a really crucial intervention.
Yeah, you know, I expected more from Vitor Hugo there. In transition, overload's better than speed. If he'd have waited 1 more second, he had Liam Pelthyman coming on his left, and they could have gone wide, weak side, and across. So not the right decision there.
Dennison back in for Tolusa Tunye. So it's Dennison, Basja, Goldstein, and Griffin Coles. Rani Medina's on for Helvecia. Fernando Malta's going to stay in. So it's Ribeiro who's also come in as well on this near side. 3 minutes and 58 remain of this enthralling, engaging first half. Neither side has given an inch. Both have had their moments. Both have hit the woodwork. Both have yet to find the back of the net.
Yeah, I think they've hit the woodwork. I'd say a couple of harsh names. No one's really been opened up yet, have they, where you can see, right, that's a clear opportunity that I can remember. But, you know, systems are very similar in terms of how they're playing, you know, floating between 4-0, 3-1 in attack. But also out of possession, they're both 2-1-1 in the press, so it's very matched up here. It's very even man for man. I think it's going to take some individual quality to really open up this game in a 1v1.
There's enough of it. Vitor Hugo, one of those players who possesses such ability. He finds Mark Croft, who's just flying on the left side here, picks out Medina, that's lovely for Ribeiro, and Goldstein just got there in time. Brilliant. That was a beautiful move from Helvecia, and Goldstein nipped it in the bud, just.
Yeah, great ball from Mark Croft into the chest. Rani Medina knows setting it up for Ribeiro, who's just trying to get there to finish first time.
This is Dennison and the pressure from Ribeiro. Johnny Sim can look to find Dennison. There's the pace of the Brazilian. Can he find the finish? Threatened the shot, wanted it on his favoured left foot. Eventually Ribeiro deals with it, and then Medina doing the defensive work.
Probably there, just needed to swing his left favourite foot at that, his right foot, put it across the goal, rather than trying to cut back because the momentum has shifted and the defender's got back when he went onto his left foot. Wow.
Here's Croft on the fly, in oceans of space, drives it across to the second post where Medina was waiting, but he just got his angles wrong there. Mark Croft, we've seen him do that so effectively over the last few weeks in this summer showdown. Sim will launch this one forward. It hits Goldstein rather than anything else. Dennison snaps into the challenge.
Brilliant.
ProFutsal London will turn this over, and then it goes in transition to Eduardo Tijerin. Tijerin has support, and Johnny Sim makes the save.
Great defending. There was a last-ditch challenge there to stop it. You see how
it's Christian Edwards,
yeah,
the youngster.
Well, Edwards did the right thing. He just was trying. You're not putting this across the goal to the second post, so he knew he might draw a foul, but he made the right decision.
Just deflected off Basja. Sim will look to beat Croft. Oh, that wasn't far away. That was not far away at all. I've just taken a look to my left, and Johnny Sim has puffed those cheeks out.
I think that was
he
closer.
He knows this was close.
Closer than Mark Croft thought it was going to be.
Oh, that is not missed by much. Medina. Vitor Hugo, the Portuguese, looking for Tijerin. Great read by Sim. Oh, missed touch. And Medina chips Sim off the bar and out. Oh, it was such a good effort. Basja comes away for ProFutsal London.
This game's really open. I'm going to say I think the open game probably helps ProFutsal in a way. I think Helvecia would rather it be closed, more tactical.
That's a Helvecia ball, but Medina there, the improvisation. He's a
goal scorer.
He's such a raw goal scorer, isn't he?
The amount of goals he's scored over the years with Helvecia, with England, you know, he knows where the back of the net is.
Mark Croft's long ball forward. Here is Medina. Dennison gets to it. Well, by Medina's count himself, he scored 310 goals in Helvecia blue, which is an incredible record of so many years.
There's only one place he could put that, and it's nearly gone. What a great chance.
Oh, and he thought it was in, didn't he? Ribeiro robbed. Dennison, no way through past Ticherin. 2 minutes remain in this first half. Oh, I could watch these guys play for 2 hours. It's unbelievable.
Good cutting.
Oh, now then, Mike break for Edwards. Good save.
Brilliant from Richard Waugh. That battle with Victor Hugo, held it off, dropped it into the path of Edwards, for Edwards to come onto it. In moments, it can go front to back like that. It's, doing well. What we'll probably see here is, like you say, a set play where we'll get some blocking and we'll get some screening on the Helvecia players to try and open up passing lines for maybe a volley. There it is.
It's Richard Wards, and he can hit them.
You know, it's not quite what they wanted, because you need to block Victor Hugo from coming out into that space so you can get time on that volley.
Croft to Ticherin. That's a lovely pick out. Victor Hugo will keep this in. One-on-one with Dennison. Dennison wins that particular battle. Finds a way out too, but Edwards can't quite keep it alive. So many one-on-ones where you've just been waiting for this battle to come for...
it's got to.
I would say the last month, but in reality, it's been the best part of 2 years since these two teams last met.
Yeah, they're both, training hard. Some of them are outdoors, using outdoors, but really the speed of it indoors is faster than outdoors. You definitely can do it outdoors. You can definitely train outdoors, no problem, but there's a different level to
now
the performance level.
Ticherin is quick, he will get there. He's got Ribeiro available, puts it through the legs of Dennison, and Johnny Sim was there.
Well done. Well done, Johnny Sim.
Superb.
Well done for 2 reasons. 1, the save, and 2, he calmed the transition down. He could have gone quick, but he'd just gone front to back, and players, when they go...
That's clever. Rand's there! And just wide.
When it goes front to back so quick, sometimes you need a keeper to just get hold of the game. I think we talked about this earlier, about how they manage the game as well. Great management from Johnny Sim.
Lovely parallel pass to pick out Rand. Sim's out there, he's going to head this clear. Dennison shows it, then takes it away from Paul Freeman. 1 against 2, somehow still keeps a hold of it. Eventually he's robbed, then Ward comes in to help out, and Paul Freeman, did he leave one on Ward? There's a little bit of afters as well between Dennison and Guilherme Monti. All just starting to heat up. Richard Ward is still on a heap on the deck. Mark Burkett has got his work cut out.
Getting lively, getting lively.
We knew it would.
Well, it's close, it's
not
lively.
Not a rivalry, by the way.
No, it's not a rivalry, of course. No, it's going to get lively, right? And this, like I said to you before, it's physical. There's lots of body contact. There's lots of bodies flying in, and you've got to be able to use your body. You've got to be able to roll. So, the amount of upper body contact is a bit more like basketball. You won't see many slides, but you'll see a lot of body contact going on.
Just off the ball, Ruben Fernandez has gone down with a bit of afters with John Curran. I think Paul Freeman, just left one on Richard Ward there. In the end, nothing's been given. Paul Freeman's walking a tightrope, of course. He is on a yellow card.
I think Pro will want to play this sort of, getting in a head game, making it ratty for Helvecia to get into their flow, to use that experience.
Richard Ward requesting a bit of VAR. Let's go back to the actual action, because this was amazing from Eduardo Ticherin. Such a good little bit of skill.
He couldn't have gone anywhere else. We talked about earlier, didn't we, about moments of skill. Well, that comes out because of constraints, the tight areas. Where can you go?
Dennison's put a long barrier in front of him, and he still managed to meg him. This is John Curran. Rand, he's got options here. Can he pick out
Wrong
Ward?
way.
Not quite.
Wrong way. It's getting a bit frantic. There's opportunities here where I think they can make better decisions. Ice in the head, passion in the heart, but you've got to be cool in the head in terms of your decision making all the time.
Paul Freeman with the kick in. Final minute of action in this first half. It's with Mark Croft. Vitor Hugo will take it over. Croft retreats. Fernandez, great defending by Curran. Vitor Hugo takes over. Dennison can then feed it forward towards. Paul Freeman goes across to meet him. Dennison snaps into the challenge. And now it'll break for Ward. Good chance. I think the option was there for Randy, didn't use him. Monty goes down under pressure from Dennison. Not much in that. Dennison's happy to let that go, but what a chance for Jared Rand if he was found.
I was just saying he's open. If he passes into that ball, I think we'd have seen the first goal. Dennison's managed to come out with the ball. It's landed to, I think, Richard Ward. Jared's on. Give him the ball. Goal.
This is John Curran. Final 20 seconds. Is there to be
good screen by John Curran?
One last bit of drama. Oh, that was looked like a foul. It's not been given. Monty then with a chance to score. and London Helvecia take the lead. ProFutsal London not happy. They'll feel the play should have been stopped. But Guilherme Monti stabs it home. It's scrappy, but it's there for London Helvecia.
Yeah, we knew this game was going to be tight. I didn't quite see what happened in the lead up to that, because what happened is I think John Curran ran round and screened, and something happened with a screen move is when you pass it to your player, you run in front of the pressing player to stop them pressing the ball, so they can't get fast pressure on it. And I think something happened when the two bodies came in together, but I can't see it.
ProFutsal London will be livid to give a goal away like that with less than 10 seconds remaining on the watch. Can Ward Turner make something happen? No. Buzzer's going to go, and it's Helvecia who take a lead into half-time. What a match this has been so far. Relentless pace, absolutely unforgiving. It is everything that we wanted and hoped it would be. And at the moment, at half-time, it is London Helvecia 1, ProFutsal London 0. Oh, I need a glass of water. We'll be back after the break.
Electric.
Welcome back to the National Futsal Series. It's half-time here, and what a cagey affair it's been. London Helvecia go 1-0 up in the final 10 seconds of the first half, but it's been end to end, really.
Yeah, it's been lively. We said, didn't we? We said it was going to be lively. We said it was going to be high intensity, and I think both teams out of possession. Wow, high pressure, not letting each other play, and it's been man for man, match for match at the moment.
You know, so we're going to look at some of the chances here. When I think of futsal, I think of it like being pretty and fancy, but not today. Like, these guys are going in, like,
yeah,
very tasty. Talk to me about that.
Well, you know, it's that like misconception. It's all about tricks. We've seen some great skill. We've seen some great 1v1 ability, Megs, but the game is high intensity, passing, moving, physical, high, you know, really, really fast game. And like you say, today you've seen some of the real top level, the physical element of performance level.
Great save
here.
Yeah,
a great save there.
Brilliant.
Just off the post.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was a great. I was screaming at that point. ProFutsal have been playing some direct football and have had a lot of good chances as well, though. Also.
Yeah, Pro. You know, they've looked good in trying to play from front to back. Johnny Sim's been great there in goal for them, but some of their direct play has been really, really good to try and catch Helvecia napping, if you little bit like, in the press. But
and we're seeing in these chances here, it's just like a lot of like people throwing their bodies in the way, but also mixed with the skill. Like, as you can see there, it's off the line, but he goes past the keeper in like in such a stylish way. So it's like it's got that mixture of both.
Yeah, you have to be able to attack, but you have to be able to defend as well, and that's what you're probably seeing at this level. You can't get away with just being an attacker.
Listen, I was looking at here, yeah, that keeper almost had it there, and this is the. This is crazy, yeah. This
was probably the best chance.
Yeah, Raioni.
Ooh, I would have loved if this went in.
Unbelievable skill.
My God.
Leaning back as well.
Yeah, so much technique on that. But with the keepers coming out, it gives opportunities for those kind of goals, surely.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that today, haven't we? Look at this bit.
Yeah. Oh, Meg, see you later, mate.
Yeah. So we've seen that. We've seen the product of the game coming out, but we've also seen the directness, the fastness, the passing. And like you say, it's been like amazing showcase for futsal, but competitive, right? For a Champions League spot.
For sure.
Well, there was a goal right at the end of the first half. Let's take a look at this goal, because it was the moment we've all been waiting for, because it was all 0-0 for the whole half.
Oh, John, get up, mate.
He just probably went down a little bit easy there. He should have fought for that ball a little bit more. And then in the end, losing that ball in that area, you know, we've talked about today as well, you can't lose the ball in that area. He would have probably thought it was a foul, but needs to
I'm not sure. I'm not having that as a foul, man. That's just all gym. Get in the gym, son. Get in the gym. But I love to hear the celebrate. Look at this here. This the little dink. He tried it, but still to have the composure afterwards and to kind of just flick it in there. And I love this celebration afterwards. Like, the passion was so mad.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, with your national former coach head experience, what would the coaches be saying at halftime now to these two teams?
Yeah, do you know what? It'll be quite interesting, because I think both teams just would want it close. So even though it's 1-0, they'll create chances. I think out of possession, I think they'll be quite pleased. The pressure's been good. I think in possession, they just need 1 or 2 more passes as a team to create 1v1s, overload. So having the ball a little bit longer is what you'd want from your teams in these moments, but also not being counted on. That's going to be the game here where if you've got good possession, don't get counted on, and that's where you'll see the competitive, aggressive bit to stop the counter-attack.
Yeah, obviously we're going to see some of the tackles here because I really can't get over this, I'm thinking futsal's nice and pretty. Look at this here, this guy.
You can feel the
feels
rivalry.
tough.
Yeah.
That feels tough. I know he's going to feel that tomorrow morning, man. There was some tough tackles in there.
Some huge hits.
The one on the goalie here was a great. The 21 came in high energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how because the pitches are so much smaller, the way you can fly into the tackles is great. And this tackle here is just awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, because it's tighter, there's less space to play in as a player, which means the bodies are closer. So there's loads of upper body contact, a bit like basketball. They've got to use the bodies, they've got to use their upper bodies, and the pivots, the top players are rolling, they're fighting for the ball. Whereas in a football pitch, you've got more space. They haven't got the space, so you've got to be able to use your body.
Yeah, and I'll also say, it's crazy how they're so into the tackles.
Yeah.
That they cheer every tackle that goes thing.
Love defending.
They cheer for everything. It's actually crazy how much tackling is a part of this, and I would have never thought.
Really?
That.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant because every defensive action is so important. Because if you don't get it right, it's a 3v2, it's a 4v2, and it's a goal at this level. So defending is so important. The responsibility as an individual.
In commentary, I heard you say in a Tier 2 game that they've got 2 meters of space between the players. But in this game, it's a lot less, 1.5 meters. What's the difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2?
Yeah, the pressure is so good. So the players have to deal with that ball in that high pressure situation. And what you've noticed is they can deal with it. That's like a prerequisite. You have to be able to deal with the ball under pressure. But what they're good at is facing forward, and they can go left, they can go right, they can go forward. And if you get the pressure wrong, then you're in trouble. So that shows you how important it is to get your defending right as well.
For sure. Okay, Michael, we got to send you back, man. Second half, I'm looking forward to it, my man.
Thank you very much,
Brilliant,
Michael. We'll take you back to Steve and Jameson now.
Well, plenty to think about in that half-time interval, whether you be from a London Helvecia persuasion or whether you be promoting Pro Futsal London. 1-0 at the break to Helvecia. We are moments away from getting the second half back underway. And a relentless pace in that first half. The question is, can both sides maintain it? And the ultimate question is can Pro Futsal London recover to find their way back into it? Mike joining me back on commentary here for this second half. It was a really disappointing way for Pro Futsal London to concede at the end of that first half. They're a mentally strong group of lads. They've had to suffer in their last game against Bolton. They had it really, really tough. We're behind for a long time. They've just got to stick to what they're doing, but it's an altogether different ball game when you're playing London Helvecia.
Definitely, but they'll be happy, right? They've got to half-time. It's a close game. They'll be happy. The goal wasn't, you want to be scored against a good goal. It's a bit soft, if you like, in that sense, but they'll be happy. This game is still open for both teams. The pressure's been...
Oh, what a ball from Vitor Hugo. Medina tried to pick out Tijerin, and he would love that one back. He had way more time than I think he realised there, only Medina.
Yeah, but what you are seeing, for the newcomers of futsal today that are watching, the intensity of when this game is played properly at a top level. This game is electrifyingly fast.
Satunier. That's a rare loose error. Both teams just settling back into this second half. Both Medina and Satunier missing their moments.
It's important they get into the rhythm really quickly. We've spoke about starting both halves really well. Both teams in the first half started really resiliently, really strong. Didn't give anything easy away. It's really important both do that again.
Paul Freeman. It's blocked by Satunier. Not seen the best of Liam Polferman so far in this match. He's been involved in a fair few running battles, but on the ball we've not seen exactly what he can do. That's wicked from Tijerin! Wicked feet, wonderful finish. Eduardo Tijerin gets us going in the second half and puts distance between Helvecia and Pro Futsal London.
Yeah, that changes the game for me now. We talked about starting halves. Well, what a bit of La croqueta, I think they call it. Right foot to left foot to get around the player. We said 1v1s could be the difference here, but the toe poke finish, wow, what a finish.
That was an absolute cannon. Nothing Johnny Sim could do about that. What a start to the second half inside the opening minute for London Helvecia. Both goals scored within about 40 seconds of each other either side of half time. Tough for ProFutsal London to take, but they must recover with Curran. What a fillip that is for this Helvecia team, who can now relax a little bit. That cushion is important.
Yeah, I think that's put a bit of distance between the two teams. I think cleverly now you might see Helvecia just drop off and be really hard to beat and invite Pro on as the game goes on to try and catch them on the counter.
It's well played by Dennison. Can he get around Polfreeman? No. Enrique Guillen absolutely loved that. Satunier.
Great screen by John Curran again.
Satunier does that so well. This is Basja.
Parallel pass.
Just sealed out there by Vitor Hugo, and ProFutsal London will have to restart here with Dennison. Brazilian number 10. Helvecia defending really well here.
Yeah.
ProFutsal London maintain possession.
Pro just moving the ball in a 4, rotating in, cutting without the ball. But I was just going to say, you can't have too many touches when you've got to keep the ball moving from side to side, flowing to try and get those open up gaps. So they've just not quite started well enough with the ball here. Yeah,
Dennison splits Basja and Satunier. Richard Ward comes on for Curran. Jared Rand prepared to come on as well. Long way back for ProFutsal London, but I mean, they created enough chances in that first half to score a few goals. That's Croft who can really strike them, and that was nearly 3 for Tijerine. And that might well have put too much daylight between the two teams.
It's brilliant here. Mark Croft, great save. Looked like he was pushing it rather, didn't go out. Second save. Great second save.
That's Medina. Good chance again.
That's a huge chance. You don't get many of those in set pieces. Good block, opened up the passing line. You'll see them trying to organise here, but got that pass through to Medina and should have probably finished there, because you don't get many opportunities like that.
Yeah, we'll maybe take another look at that in a moment. Forward come ProFutsal London again, and Vitor Hugo at that fix roll does that so well. The man brought in from Braga to help get London Helvecia back into the Champions League. At the moment, they can start to hear that starry anthem. This is Tijerine. It's read by Satunier. Forward comes Basja. Now then, chance for Polfreeman. And Medina pulling wide. Ward dispossessed him, but that's loose, and Polfreeman rattles the torso of Sim, who held firm.
Pro getting away with a bit here at the moment. Great tackle.
Dennison robs Tijerine. Onto his left he goes. Can't let him shoot. Oh, and he just tried to stand that up, I think, towards Mark Croft, who lost it for a moment. Fires it into the feet of Medina, instant control. No
Brilliant.
way through.
Brilliant from Dennison there. You can see he's trying to chop pass it into the second post, but didn't quite get his body shape right. What a save that is there, back with Johnny Sim, because losing the ball in your Ds is not what you want to do when you're chasing a game.
This is Tijerine. Forward comes Ruben Fernandez, straight on off the substitutes bench, but that was ambitious from Tijerine, played that blind. Ward! Oh, goodness me, I thought that was in. He absolutely rifled that.
I think you say he caught that. Caught that well.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it sat up really nicely for him, and I think Mark Croft would have struggled with the pace of that.
He was beaten, no doubt about it, he was beaten. This is Vitor Hugo over the kick-in. Polfreeman. Vitor Hugo robbed of possession. Dennison cuts it out. Ward backs in. Dennison, can he pick the pass? Just a little bit too much on it. Just been passed up some news, by the way, from the Helvecia camp. Lucas Totti picked up a knock right at the start of the match. He was part of the starting 5. Very, very talented player for Helvecia. Yeah. He's out the game.
It's a shame that, because, you know, Lucas Totti's this game's probably crying out for him, because 1v1 he'll go past players, he'll get strong shots off. So, you know, they're obviously doing well without him at the moment, but that would have been a blow early doors. He starts in the 5. He's one hell of a player.
Yeah, and any team in the country misses Lucas Totti. Guilherme Monti is back in. Ruben Fernandes playing at the pivot position, up at the top of the D. It goes all the way back to Mark Croft. Drills a ball. What a good ball that is to Fernandes. Can he turn? Nearly. Breaks for Vitor Hugo, and Johnny Sim once again stands tall.
What a pass. The technical quality from Mark Croft into the feet of the pivot. Dealt with it, rolled, and then what a save of Vitor Hugo's left foot. He's keeping him in this game at the minute.
Yeah, Vitor Hugo, can't believe he missed it any higher, and wouldn't have mattered what Johnny Sim did. This is Guilherme Monti, the scorer of the first goal for Helvecia. Intercepted by Goldstein. Ward battles once again with Paul Freeman. Fernandes comes around the back and nicks it from him. That's a loose pass though. Monti does so well to keep that in. And Mark Croft just says, you have it.
Yeah, let it be your problem, not in this phase. Yeah, it's good here. Pro need to start building more. Need to move more, need to move Helvecia around. Even though it's good pressure coming from Helvecia, need to move the ball side to side a little bit faster than they are doing.
Rand. He feels he was fouled by Fernandes. Referee's way of play on. Monti hits the deck off not a lot of contact. Monti and Goldstein square up. Passion's running high. Liam Palfreyman comes over to calm Guilherme Monti down.
They need to calm down, you know, they need to calm down a little bit here.
A smile from Ruben Fernandes. I think in reality they're all absolutely loving this, aren't
they? They're fine.
Yellow card's coming out for Jared Rands. I think more for the reaction than the foul itself. I think he was frustrated initially that he didn't get the decision. It's a little bump, it's a theatrical fall. And a bit of an overreaction from Guilherme Monti. Said Mark Burkett might have his work cut out today, hasn't he just?
He's, you know, referee World Cup finals, he's been there, done it, he's seen it all, so he's managing this game really well. And Peter Nurse, you know, the most experienced referees in the country, know what they're doing, seen it all before.
So Palfreyman over the set piece. He's got Vitor Hugo just back from him. Guilherme Monti at the back stick. Fernandes trying to make a nuisance of himself. That's Vitor Hugo. That's a good stop again. Johnny Sim's been outstanding.
Yeah, especially this second half. He's had a few shots to deal with early doors. He's done that well. He's kept him in the game, and, you know, ProFutsal probably need to try and change how they're operating a little bit here, because they can't seem to get a foothold this half. Helvecia have been a lot better.
Wholesale 4-man change incoming for ProFutsal London in a moment. Mark Croft gets rid. Sometimes in scenarios like that, as you said earlier, it's better to let the ball be the opposition's problem. Helvecia don't need to take risks and gamble with the ball in possession. Now they're 2 goals up. ProFutsal probably do. Goldstein, can he pick the pass? Charging forward was Seth Burkett there, trying to get around the back. He's only just come in a moment ago, and it was a really brave bit of defending, just threatened to head it and take his stride away.
There's a difference between the keeper playing in transition quick short and the keeper playing in positional attack short and quick.
Couldn't find the ball through to Rand. That's clever from Fernandes. Forward goes Monti. Checks in field. Monti won't get through. ProFutsal London survive. That's clever from Monti. Across comes Seth Burkett.
Brilliant.
Been there and done it around the world.
Brilliant there from Motti, was it, down the line, can go 1v1, can go past players, and it's the difference at the minute. The people that are going past people in 1v1 situations opening the game up.
Fernandes tees it for Vitor Hugo, who misses by a whisker. 4-man change comes in, Current comes in, Dennison in as well. Christian Edwards checks into the game. Xavi Corral will go and play as the pivot. He'll occupy Vitor Hugo. Big, tall Spaniard. Johnny Sim's going to try and pick him out. Great ball.
Great press breaker there. John Curran just cutting through, opening it up.
Oh, Christian Edwards, can he get through? He can. Great save. Corral can't quite wrap his foot around it. It's a really good bit of defending by Guilherme Monti, who just got something on it. Instantly there, you see the difference that a player like Xavi Corral can make just by occupying and really making a real nuisance of himself.
John couldn't cut through there, took a defender with him, and that allowed Johnny Sim to find the pivot down on the left side. And obviously, Xavi Corral there needs to look after the ball, but that's a set play from the keepers. We talked about sometimes they get rid, but sometimes they play through it.
Monti current tracks him, can't quite get it through. Dennison blocks. Vitor Hugo will take over, commands Croft to go as the fly, help break the press. Here is the Helvecia goalkeeper. He's not afraid of shooting. It's a good save from Sim. He just checks it's not going in. Almost deja vu for Croft after that goal he scored a couple of weeks ago.
Really clever from Vitor Hugo there. You know, he knows that Pro are going to press in a 2-1-1. So what he's done is gone, well, you're not going to press me and the keeper because you're then pressing a 4 versus 5. So the way they're getting out of pressure is saying, come on, Crofty, come and play with me, and we'll get you over the halfway line. All of a sudden, management again, Pro are pinned back again. So Pro can't get their pressure on that they got in the first half because they keep just using Mark Croft to get out of that pressure.
Vitor Hugo tees it back. Ivan Zhu is back on. Here he is. Claudio Ribeiro also joins. Here he is. Here is Ribeiro, all read by Xavi Corral. Goes down, nothing doing. Ivan Zhu for Claudio Ribeiro, and Edwards slides in to save the goal from Ruben Fernandez. Great last-ditch intervention from Christian Edwards, who had to get there.
Wow, emergency defending there again from Edwards. He knows he's going second post, but getting there is a different challenge. He got there really well.
Ivan Zhu tees this one back. Vitor Hugo will smash it off the shins of Xavi Corral. Goes all the way home to Croft. Claudio Ribeiro ran into Dennison. Croft can't quite this time pick the pass. Ruben Fernandez is constantly making a nuisance of himself in that pivot role. He floats so well, but he's just such an annoyance for defenders. Constantly drawing contact, constantly making them do things.
Brilliant. Been brilliant today. Now what you see about some of these defending players, what they'll do is they'll put their body on the passing line but also threaten the ball. Dennison does it really well where you do 2 jobs in one when you're pressing. But what Helvecia are doing really well in their press breakers is just stopping the press coming. So they're not having 2 or 3 passes and trying to build anymore. What they're saying is, we'll play parallels, we'll play through, but you're not going to press us, and if we need to, we'll play out through Mark Croft. So they're managing the game really well.
It's clever from Dennison. There goes Christian Edwards, battling with Claudio Ribeiro, who does really well to take it off him. Ivan Zhu, Fernandez, instant, almost telepathic control, isn't it?
It just sticks.
The quickness of feet to sort your legs out, going at that sort of speed and turning. Amazing to watch.
Here we are
a little
again.
bit of time. Vitor Hugo takes it off him.
These are the moments where Pro have got to be more aggressive because you can't go back to the keeper now. So Pro have got to be really aggressive in these moments because you can't use Mark Croft. So they have to get up the court. They have to try and get that court back.
Oh,
there we go.
Then. That's going to be a fat.
Yeah, they couldn't use him unless it touched the defender. But that's the situation where
that's what ProFutsal London are calling for.
Yeah.
I mean, the referees must be thinking it must have nick off a defender.
But that's what I'm saying. In those moments where they've used Mark Croft, get the pressure on. Try and get this ball back quicker.
Oh, that's loose from Edwards, and Ribeiro can't beat Sim. They get away with one. That's going to be a foul by Ivan Zhu. Clatters John Curran. Time to just take a small breather, not just for the players but for us as well. It's been relentless, this match. I think that's the best word to use to describe it. Both teams operating at such an intense level, and I suppose when you look back at that first half, there's a lot of sort of what appear to be almost unforced errors, but the reality of that is it's completely forced because the intensity they're playing at, the
100%.
Decisions they're having to make at such a tight time space, but also the constraints of the court. They don't have the room to be able to get out of problems like that very simply.
100%. We talk about good errors and bad errors in futsal. You know, you're going to make errors because of the pressure you're under, but where you make them is really important. And good errors are trying to go past someone on a wide 1v1. If the ball gets kicked out, doesn't matter. losing the ball in your third is not so good, you know.
Mark Croft loses control, got to be careful here. Xavi Corral gets a slap in the face, it sounded like, from Ruben Fernandez. Current is met by Jew.
John Current's done well there because Xavi Corral giving the ball in a ridiculously tight area, just lifted it once, lifted it two, knew what he was playing for. That's what I'm saying about Gudera. He's got to play down that channel. He knows there's going to be a defender that gets a toe in it, but they've got up court. This is where they need to make it count now. What have they got collectively to overload Helvecia and get in between the lines?
Denison's pass is picked by Fernandez. Bit of time and space for the Spaniard. Denison, you can see, frustrated with himself.
He's better than that. He's not happy with that. He can build, and then find those forward passes.
Brazilian who came over to England in his late teenage years. It's a lovely ball, but cut out by Current. Drives down the right, beats Tijerin. Can he pull this back? So such a good bit of defending by Fernandez. It really is.
Great defending. What you notice there, both players quickly got off in court because it was end-to-end stuff twice. They quickly got off in court in order to get those changes, to keep the intensity.
Into the side netting from Basjip. Well, we've been enjoying this experience so much. We've been speaking to Andrew all day about his sort of first elite futsal experience. Andrew, you're down courtside, you're feeling the intensity of this game. Is it everything you hoped it would be?
Yes, guys, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing this second half. Helvecia have kind of turned up and they're popping the ball around. It could have been 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, but the keeper for ProFutsal has been absolutely incredible. He's been saving almost anything. It's like the Hayes in goal. I can't believe it. But I'm loving the game so far, man. Back to you guys.
Yeah, so entertaining. There's Goldstein. Flipped over the top by Fernando Malta, who's back in. Oh, Vitor Hugo got around the back. Oh. And that was an inch away. Bit of confusion between Jared Rand and Johnny Sim. That hasn't happened often.
No, we're seeing that bit of tiredness creeping in now from Pro. They've got to press. They've got to get the ball back. They've got to work, and then they just a bit of miscommunication.
Jew, creeping around the back is Bastia. Wants the free kick, doesn't get it. Big chance here for Tijerin. Denison appeared out of nowhere to stop him.
Great defending by Denison. You know, it looked like maybe could have been a foul there, but the referees didn't get it, and Denison had to recover. Absolutely the rate of knots, but did really well to get back.
Still only one foul apiece heading into the final 10 minutes and change of this summer showdown. Fernando Malta deep in the corner. And his presence will be a bit of a soothing one for Helvecia. They've got that out ball, and in, you know, you look at the foursome that's out there now. You've got Ivan Ju, Fernando Malta, Vitor Hugo, Tijerin. They're all such physically strong players who can all hold the ball so well.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of blocking and screening on here. Very clever again for Vitor Hugo, just inviting Mark Croft to come in.
He can hit it left-footed as well.
What he's done there, he's gone, you know, there's lots of screening, there's lots of blocking, there was nothing obvious on to try and score, and he's just rolled it into Mark Croft and gone, come on, come and play, because we'll still manage this game. I think at the minute, the second half for me, Vitor Hugo is the one managing this game.
Yeah, he's dictating the tempo, isn't he? Running it. This is Malta. Here he is again, the Portuguese. These are the games he was brought over for.
Yeah, it's brilliant games. You see Victor Malta, they're holding the defender off sideways.
Sims looking to release Denison. Ivan Shu was quick in recovery.
So you see Fernando Malta holding sideways, not letting the pressure come from the backman, and he can roll left, he can roll right. And you know, for any young kids watching, to receive the ball sideways on is so important, hiding the ball, if you like, from his opposite player. Goldstein
looks to pick out Bastia. Just tried to roll Vitor Hugo, but I think he was clever enough to know there wasn't really the room for that. Paul Freeman comes in for Jew. Tikerin's going to take a breather. Guillermo Monti is coming back in. Or not just yet. I think Enrique again just says to wait for the moment. So Monti and Medina will be inbounds momentarily. Not quite yet. Not a bad couple of players to bring in. Here's Jared Rand who intercepts. Can't get around Tiharu now, 2v1. He's got Paul Freeman with him. Here he is, Liam Paul Freeman! That might settle it.
Brilliant.
Liam Paul Freeman puts London Helvecia 3 goals to the good. Are they on their way to the Champions League?
I think so. This is a massive uphill battle. What you saw there is Jaran giving the ball away a little bit cheaply, counter-attack 2 versus 1, and then you saw the quality and the experience of Helvecia, how to deal with a 2v1 and score. And Liam Pelfreman's first touch there is what that goal's all about. He knows the defender's got to get across the line and come back in quick. He's had his first touch back inside, across the body, if you like, across the momentum of the defending player. Here it is. That player can't stop, can't do anything about it. And then what a left foot finish into the bottom corner. Johnny Sim being beaten for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, it's a great finish. He's an immensely talented player, as Liam Palfrey. He's won championships in 3 different countries, including this one, a fact that I know he's very, very personally proud of as well. He might be. And in a moment like that, that might just have fired Helvecia back to the big time.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to, see this game out. They've got lots of experience. I think what we are going to see, that we talked about earlier, we're going to see the power play. I can't imagine now, that we're not going to see a power play from ProFutsal and how they're going to try and, be aggressive and overload. And I think
that why they called the timeout
at
this
juncture,
you think?
Yeah, I think they've gone, do you know what? We're not going to get back in this toe-for-toe. The clock's going to run. I think we're going to start to see the power play come out or be more aggressive to start off with. So you might see Johnny Sim play as that extra player. But I think it's going to be straight away change outfield player. Yeah, there we go.
Well, there we see Jared Baz just going to be the man to don the goalkeeper shirt. He's going to play as the fly keeper. We've not seen ProFutsal London do this throughout the whole summer showdown. All 3 games, they've never once done it. This is the first time we've really seen them forced to do it.
Yeah, this is the risk card. This is the risk card. The way to get back in this game with the clock running, with losing minutes, is that you go that extra player, you move the ball, you take the risk. Now, we talked about earlier how you can defend and sometimes press a 4v5. What you'll see here is like more of a diamond box from Helvecia will defend this, depending where the ball is. Essentially, they'll defend as a diamond. As it moves to the side, they'll start to box out. Now, what you see with their body shape here is they're just cutting middle passes. They'll have nothing through the middle, and they'll just block out middle passes.
That's a loose one from Richard Ward, and he knows it. I saw his reaction just out of shot. He's so disappointed with himself. On comes Johnny Sim.
We say when defending the power play, the line is your extra player. In 5-side you play off the wall, you wouldn't do that, but because you can push them towards the line, you have to do that. And what you saw there is Helvecia cleverly making it a 2v2. So it's a 5v4, but if you can make it a 2v2, a 3v3, you have a chance to press.
Here come Helvecia with their own press breaker. What a good ball from Croft to Medina. He does keep that in. Fires it into Monty, can't find the target. Ward needs an out ball, and he wins his team a kick in. Monty departs, Polfreman back on. Just waiting for the chance to use the fly. They'll set this up if they can. Or ProFutsal London. Current's pass cuts out.
Teams are a bit unsure there, whether to fly, whether to not. I think what they're trying to do, I think they're trying to get out into the fly, but they don't want to do it every time because it could be too risky. So now,
and what you see here is a defensive set come on the court for Helvecia, isn't it?
So tactically now, what they'd class is inverted. So you've got a left footer on the right side of the diamond. You've got Liam Pelfreman as a right footer to stop the diagonal passes. And then you've got Romara and Dejou, who are really the blockers, stopping balls centrally. So they'll go about 12 metres, nothing more. They won't go and press it unless it's a trigger. But what you'll see is they're picking their opportunities where Romara and Malta could go and get some pressure on the central player. But
Curran does well, he's going to flash this in, and Ivan Ju nods that away like he's got granite for a skull. Didn't even flinch.
Boom. That came in hard, but yeah, they'll defend. This is where you'll see the cleverness of defending now, how to defend a 4 versus 5. And it's about blocking passing lines. It's about, what we say is about controlling your space. So if you were to draw 4 boxes on the pitch, it's about who's owning that space. Can you get passes through you?
This is Basjet, the fly keeper. Wards. Movement is good from ProFutsal London. Can Dennison get through? No. Great blocking there by Goldstein.
Great defending by Russell Goldstein.
Curran. ProFutsal London keep the pressure on. Ward to Basjet. tried to poke it through to Goldstein. Croft's going to back himself here, but he slices it. That's unlike him. Worst contact to the ball he's made all day. Back come ProFutsal London.
What you'll see from ProFutsal here is a 3 in line. So they'll try and move one player on the same line when they try and move that ball. So Dennison here creating a 3 in line with Russell. So might move in on one side to create 3 players to try and put Helvecia players on the same line.
Jew running at pace. Fernandez takes over and he's happy to wait. Bastia is going to stay in goal here. He can't come out.
He couldn't get off. He couldn't get off the court quick enough. If he lost the goal, it would have been a goal. So now he's stuck.
That's a handball from Ward.
They'll change now. They'll change now.
I think he's done that deliberately so he could change.
Yeah, it's a clever foul. What it does is allow Helvecia to, ProFutsal stop the game, change the keeper. Because in that moment of transition, he had to go straight back to the goal so they couldn't get a lob on. And in the end, they've managed to get the change. So exciting stuff.
7.5 minutes left. Time is running out for ProFutsal London. Medina, no one home. Now then, Dennison's made a really good run. Monty needed to get there and did. Vitor Hugo. Goldstein will pressure him. He's so strong, isn't he? That's a loose ball though. Dennison stands on it, somehow keeps possession. It'll break here to Goldstein. Can he finish? Great defending by Tikarin.
Unlucky, but here we go again, back into the fly. So they've got minutes. They need to score one of these in next couple of minutes to stand a chance, I think, because the clock is rolling. 7:07.
Back on come the defensive set. Jew, Paul Freeman, Vitor Hugo, and Ruben Fernandez. It's played all the way back to current, back at base, just to restart proceedings. Ward just out of picture, lurking by the corner flag, creating the angle.
I think they can move it a bit quicker, start to move Helvecia's block around, because Liam and Vitor Hugo, Liam Peltham and Vitor Hugo at the minute don't seem troubled. You've got to really move those wingers.
Ward to Bastia. Dennison unleashes. He's got the ability from there, but it was a tough ask even for him.
Yeah, they're trying to move the pivot actually off the central axis. So a lot of the times we talk about controlling the central axis, controlling the central of the court, and they've just tried to move Romero off that axis, but to no joy.
Medina. Oh, and now Monty's going to get on the other side of it. This would finish it, and Sim easily saves. Just stood on the ball at the worst possible time. Goldstein lets that one run. It's now Dennison, beats Medina. Dennison sits Croft down. It's a brilliant attempt at a skill. Croft stayed down for a little bit of contact. Don't think there's a huge amount in that, but ball's out of play either way. See what he was trying to do, but Croft didn't buy the bait.
He didn't realise where he was. He could have caught it. He was actually in his D, but I think he was a bit disorientated because he tried to come out to win it. Didn't realise he was in his D. He could have just grabbed it.
6 minutes and 18 seconds remain on the watch. Mark Croft down for the second time in the game. He's at a couple of knocks. Dennison on the corner. Bastia and Curran almost by the centre circle. It's going to go back to them, you'd imagine. Unless
Helvecia cheat, which they're not going to, they'll be strong. I think there's space on the wide areas, so between, there's space on the wide areas. They need to get those balls quickly down the side of players, because at the minute, everything's in front, and that's fine, but it's going to be difficult to get these shots off through bodies.
Goldstein with the kick in.
Helvecia be quite happy with the ball being in front of them. If they're going to be in front, they need to shift it. Need to get it into those areas of the middle, in between a diamond. Can they get someone in there?
So at the moment, all that's happening is the clock is winding down. Ward is going to strike one, blocked. Now then, can Ruben Fernandez ice it? No. He won't mind that though. It gets the ball out of play towards the other end, and ProFutsal London have to start all over again.
It's a challenge for ProFutsal because, like you say, they've not spent many games where they've had to fly. So they're experiencing this. They're probably training with it wouldn't be as big up until this week, where they thought they might need it.
That's clever from Ward. Goldstein, a master at finding space, but even he is struggling against Ivan Zhu.
It's a defending masterclass at the minute, isn't it? 4 versus 5 players. showing how you block passing lines, how you stop the ball being played forward, but not actually going to win it.
Just watching there, just out of picture, Vitor Hugo and Liam Polfman remonstrating with each other, making sure they do the right thing for Helvecia, two top quality operators.
So they're just waiting, they're blocking middle, they're cutting out those passing lines. What they're cutting out is the diagonal pass. So Pro haven't found a diagonal pass once at the moment.
No way through for Bastia. Fernandez is going to hit the roof.
And then
we'll go for a kick in.
And then when they try and step on with the first touch to shoot, you'll see a swarm around them to stop them doing it, and that's where they're losing the ball. And it looks like there's probably more chance of Helvecia getting one on the counter while they're flying.
This is Current to Dennison. Can they pick the lock? It's just, as you mentioned, a masterclass.
A masterclass of defending. In the situations where you slow the ball down to make it 1v1, you don't really want a 1v1 here. You want a 2v1 as an attacking team because you've got that extra player. So if you slow the ball down too much and it creates like a 1v1 in possession, it's not really doing you any favours. You want to utilise your overload.
Medina in towards the path of Monty, and Johnny Sim got something on it. Does go the way of Pro Futsal London though, the decision. Look how high Helvecia are going to press them, not let them find any room. That's going to be a Helvecia ball. Vitor Hugo applauds the decision, I think sincerely, but
yeah, I think he's saying
did look a little bit sarcastic, but I think he was very sincere.
No, he was being sincere. I think he was, he took a nick off Richard Ward as he came to try and win it back. So
yeah, he was delighted with that decision. He'll play from the base again. Helvecia are almost there. Goldstein will turn this over. Right to the tackle, couldn't find Wards. Dennison should be able to step in there, he does. Monty slams in from the back, but did win the ball. Dennison then comes in to win it. Then Monty again somehow works its way through. And Monty's involved again in a little bit of afters.
I don't think he meant that. He's trying to get over him.
It's all a bit of handbags, isn't it?
I don't think he meant it. I think it's just the way he's falling.
And Mark Burkett, a very experienced referee. And a yellow card for Goldstein. He's going to go out to be replaced by Rand. 3:57 remain. Helvecia almost there, back into the competition that in recent years they've almost treated as their divine right. They are the team that sets the standards in this country. At the moment, for another year, they are the number one. Mark Croft looks for Medina. Sim will cut that one out. Pro Futsal London have ran them close. Oh, and Ward was a yard off picking out a great ball to Rand.
Right idea, just look for that diagonal as Jared Rand's won the back of the defender, if you like. If it just been a little bit less on it, might have landed well for them. But at the minute, 3-1, 3-0, but I mean, playing 3-1, Helvecia dominating this, playing with Rayoni as a pivot, but Vitor Hugo just he's the controller, he's the Sierra fixer, the one that's dictating everything that's going on here tactically.
Current takes it off Medina, now can break. Was there to be any way through? Helvecia have been outstanding defensively. Pro Futsal London haven't really created much of a chance in this second half. Dennison glides by Monty, looks to chop it back towards. We'll take the corner.
Back into the fly keeper. Back into the power play, the fly.
Referee says wait for my whistle. Rapid change into the defensive set, which we've seen so often. Ju, Paul Freeman, Fernandez and Vitor Hugo, who's barely missed a minute in this second half. What an influential player he has been.
Huge, he's been a huge player for them.
Court's just getting a little clean. It has to stay very, very dry, otherwise it becomes very dangerous. Be back underway in a moment. Here's Bastia back wearing the Fly goalkeeper's jersey. And they find a way through in this 5v4. Dennison.
Just trying to draw over that central defender in the top to try and create this.
It's Bastia, good block by Jew. Croft didn't even need to make the save in the end. Dennison finds Bastia, does he? No, Vitor Hugo's on it. What a tackle by John Curran. That's an amazing challenge. And he keeps it in.
It's a great tackle, great pass.
Rand, they finally find a diagonal. Can he make it work? No. Ruben Fernandez did the full body slide just to make sure if it came in. This has been an impeccable team performance from London Helvecia. ProFutsal London, since this second half got underway, just haven't really restarted at the level that we saw them at in the first half.
Yeah, the second goal, I think, you know, didn't help them into getting into this game. They lost a bit of their wind out of the sails and they've struggled really to get back into it. And then obviously we got the third, and now it's really open and they've got to fly.
Might see the fourth. It's Medina, and that seals it. Rayoni Medina, the London Helvecia skipper, seals it with a kiss. They are returning to the Champions League. That is that.
The quality of the finish, you know, it's put that to bed easily. You know, it's been really, really difficult for Pro to get back into this game with the fly. They've done well, but I said at the start, the experience of these Helvecia players have just shown their class second half. They've been the better team by a mile for me the second half. The first half was closer, but this second half they've just showed their class.
Superb performance, superb finish from the skipper Ryan Medina, who has been in this game a very, very long time. Former England captain, of course. Under yourself, Mike, and just such a top quality pro who's led this Helvecia team for a long time now. Very proud to be captain and wear that armband. And he will be delighted on a personal note to score and really lead his team back into Europe, where he feels they belong.
Yeah, what I've been really impressed with today as well is the last 6-7 minutes that Helvecia have defended 4 versus 5. And these 4 players have really dominated. And what you'll find is they would have worked on this all week as a 4, tactically be ready for this. And the experience that Romaro, that Vitor has, and Liam Peltham have of doing this, Helvecia haven't caused them any problems other than that one I can think of.
Can Croft find the target? No.
I was thinking there's been any chances really, and I think 1 half chance there, but the fly's just not been affected for Pro.
What about that for a finish from Medina, by the way? Haven't really touched on the actual quality of the finish, it was more the impact of the goal, but as a bit of striking play, he is so effective. Croft comes out, final minute of play here, as we are about to see another one. We know Jew rattles the upright, and it will be a London Helvecia ball. We get towards the end of this match, Mike, and I want to know your man of the match.
Vitor, who I think we've got to give it for Vitor. Just this second half, he's just stepped it up another level. He's just been absolutely amazing in terms of how he's controlled this game, the passes he's found.
Here's Croft, fouled by Satunye.
That man Mark Croft as well has been so influential, but the way he's controlled this game from the back of that core, I think it's really just took Helvecia to that level above.
So Vitor Hugo just doing the cleaning duties as if he's not swept up enough already at the back today.
Sweeper in the game, sweeper, yeah, brilliant. Well, fair play, he doesn't mind, does he? He doesn't want to get slipped over. Brilliant. What a professional he is.
What a ball that is. Ivan Jew. ProFutsal just about defend it, final 30 seconds. This summer showdown is about to come to a close, Mike. I know it's a project, it's a competition that's really gone down very well in the futsal community in this country, as Croft fires one at the goalkeeper. It's been crying out for it, hasn't it? The absence of of the game with COVID. Of course, what happened with the England team, unfortunately, it's needed a little injection here, and I feel the Summer Showdown has given it.
Yeah, well done to Paul Schmievitz, the team who run the NFS, the board, the league management committee, Chris Parkin, Adam, the ones that do all the work behind the scenes that you don't see. What a show it's been these last few weeks, and credit to them, credit to the hard work to get this for, just get back playing the game, which is what everybody's been missing due to COVID.
And we've seen some amazing action. I mean, we're here today, we've seen the 3 grand finals, but over the course of the last 4 weeks, we've seen so many amazing goals, matches and all the rest, as Helvecia are starting the party in earnest. Final few seconds, and they will have 1 more second to hold out. 1.2 on the watch. They are waving the bibs around their heads. They are ready to get going. That's that. That won't stand for Xavi Corral. London Helvecia are returning to the Champions League. They are the Summer Showdown champions. 4-0 winners over ProFutsal London. A majestic performance. A nice touch there to see Juan Tapia-Owens and Enrique Guillen, 2 men who know each other so well, embrace at the end. But ultimately, it's all about those boys in blue. Helvecia are returning to the big time.
The quality that they've brought in, the professional players that they've been brought in, Vita Hugo, Romara, Malta, they're professional futsal players that do this, for a living. And wow, what quality they've shown on the day when they needed to. And I think those last 7 minutes, the pros, if you like, really showed how to see a game out at the top level, 4 versus 5. What a performance that second half was from them.
And they'll need plenty more of that, I'd wager, as the year wears on and they start once again their travails into Europe. Nice to see some handshakes between the 2 teams. That was a battle out there. It was fought fiercely. Wasn't always fought fairly, but it was even on both sides. It was a great contest to watch. That first half in particular was a battle of severe intensity.
I think the first half, Pro would be really pleased with themselves. I know they went in 1-0 down, but they were in the game. It was a little bit of an easy goal to give away, but they were in the game. I think they'll be, when they look back and they think about building for next season, obviously, where these 2 teams will, with a couple of other teams in Loughborough and Manchester, will go head-to-head and toe-to-toe with Bolton. They'll learn from this and they'll get better from this, but I think they'll be disappointed with their second half in general.
Well, what a moment for that man. Rayoni Medina is standing by with Andrew.
Yes, Rowney, 4-0. How does it feel, man, to be champions?
Man, it feels amazing. I think you can see the reaction from the boys. Like, we worked so hard for it, The thing I love from this club is, like, we don't talk much. If you see our play in social media, really quiet, really humble. Even though our quality, we just prefer to work in silence and show here on the big days. So I'm really proud. As a captain, I'm really proud of everyone here.
So obviously, it started off as a really, really, really tight game. You got that opening goal late in the first half. What was the half-time team talk to come out and get cracking for the early goal in the second half?
If you see our previous 3 games in the league, like our second half, we always strong. We keep the intensity, and that's why we spoke to carry on the same. We knew that nothing was done yet. We know their quality, so we came here prepared for it. But thanks God, everything was perfect in the way we planned.
So now you are FA's nomination for the Champions League, man.
Yes.
How does that feel? How does that feel?
Feels amazing. It's going to be my 10th participation. Hope we can qualify to the next round at this time. But feels amazing. He's listening to this song, so it makes even better this question now, yeah.
So I just want to know, talk to me about the whole journey of getting to this point, man. Because as you said, you've worked so hard, all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's been great.
So it was really hard with the pandemic in the middle of it. In other countries was allowed futsal to be played, and unfortunately here was locked down, completely full lockdown, so we need to be doing like our own preparation at home, and to get back on it was quite difficult.
Thank you so much, man.
My
Congratulations.
pleasure. Thank
go
you.
And celebrate and go enjoy your teammates.
Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, Michael, what a showdown for the men's Series 1 final. I mean, you predicted a Helvecia win, but ProFutsal London 0, Helvecia 4, was you predicting that much of a scoreline?
What a final, I think it lived up to everything we thought it would live up to. The first half was electric, it was fast, it was quick, it was aggressive, it was everything you want to see at performance level of futsal. ProFutsal did really well, but I think the second half we just seen the experience of the professional players that Helvecia have, the quality they have in their scene, and the experience. They've been here before, they've done it, and the goals in the end, what great finishing. I think they deserved it. I think they deserved it in the end.
Let's have a look at some of the goals they scored today. Let's start with the first goal in that first half, the dying 10 seconds of that first half there.
So this was the first goal. Yeah. It was a little bit soft, probably got caught on the ball, going in 1-0. But I think they were still in it at this point at half-time. They would say that's a soft goal to concede, but it's not the end of the world. Just got caught on the ball.
But at this point in the game, ProFutsal are probably thinking they're still in the game. It was very end-to-end, very 100%. Challenging for both teams. And you'd think after this goal, going into the second half, that they'll still have a chance to get back into it. But then the second goal came along, didn't it?
Yeah, 100%, because in that half-time they're in it. And then quickly in the second half, I think Motti went down the left side, 2-0. And then you're chasing, the game opens up. 3-0, all of a sudden they've got to fly and the game's probably gone, and you just saw the quality come through from Helvecia.
Let's have a look at that second goal actually. You can see ProFutsal's on the ball here.
Brilliant. Little Cloqueta moves it around the player. We talked about 1v1s opening this game up. What a finish that is as well, with a toe poke in the bottom corner. That's all about individual ability.
Exactly. And it just seemed to just go on from there for the winning team, because from that moment on they dominated more than they did in the first half.
Yeah, they were a little bit more they were a little bit more composed. They knew what they wanted to do tactically, and I think their individual players just stepped up a notch, just raised their level, and you saw their quality just take the game away from ProFutsal.
And just behind us you can see that the runners-up are receiving their medals of a guard of honour from the winning team there. Loads of emotions on that courtyard, because look, you can see there's tears in some of the players' eyes. The final's a big deal. You want to win the trophy, don't you? And you put your heart and soul into it. And we're speaking about the key players beforehand, and as you can see there, Denison's obviously not too pleased.
Denison's in tears. He'll look back and think he should have helped the team through that more, but he's still young. He's 24. He's been playing the game for a while, but what you'll see is the futsal family there, a guard of honour. It's competitive inside the court, but family outside the court. Everyone knows each other, and it's brilliant because shaking hands, but when they go at it, you go at it, but then you leave everything, you die on the court if you like. So definitely amazing.
Let's have a look at that third goal actually, because the third goal, this is intensity.
Brilliant here from Liam Pelfreman.
Look at this.
I
think that's a double nutmeg there, no? Is that a double nutmeg?
Yeah, it looked like it, didn't it? So, but Liam Pelfreman there again playing his futsal out in Italy. He might be moving to France this year, but he's had a touch inside, great left foot finish, and by that point I think they're chasing, they've got to fly, and then for me the game's all over at 3-0 for the quality that Helvecia have.
Definitely, you wasn't expecting any more goals after that one, and the celebration was just as good as the goal, to be fair. I think he might be a fan of Mbappe, because he came over to the stand where the fans are sitting here and gave a super
means
Mbappe
a lot.
type
Yeah,
pose.
means a lot.
But let's see the winners take their medals as they line up. A well-deserved win. I wasn't expecting such a huge scoreline on the final. I thought it would be a lot tighter, especially after that first half. But to see them win 4-0, pick up their medals now, it's well-deserved, isn't it?
Some very happy faces. They lost Lucas Totti early on, and he's a big player for them, so he'll be really happy, and Helvecia will be really happy about that. But they're the deserved winners, and they'll go through now to the Champions League qualifiers, where they'll draw a group of 4 in Europe to try and get through the latter stage of the Champions League. So they'll be good.
So they've got an exciting future to look forward to now.
Yeah, the end of the summer they'll go and play for a spot in Europe. There's a match winner, man of the match.
Whilst the players are celebrating on the pitch, should we have a look at that fourth and final goal? Or should we just, yeah, there we go. Let's have a look at the fourth and final goal, because this right here just seals the deal. What a finish from the captain there. And another great celebration straight down to the
He finishes
camera.
goals like that all the time, like you say. What a finish by Rayoni. He leads this team. He's Helvecia through and through. And again, he's getting on a bit, but he leads them to another championship. And he's pleased, really pleased, excited.
Look at the champions there. Serious celebrations. jumping for joy. I love to see scenes like this. I mean, you mentioned your star players at the beginning of the match. Who stood out for you now that you've seen the final result?
Vitor Hugo, for me, man of the match, was absolutely phenomenal. The second half, his level to control the game, to move the ball tactically, technically, quality. For me, he led the team over the line. Even though there's more quality in that team, he was the one that really grabbed the game and led it. What a performance.
What a performance. Now let's head down to Andrew Mensah downstairs, who I believe is ready to talk to the winning coach.
Enrique, you said the pressure was on. Emphatic victory 4-0. How proud of you of your team?
Sorry?
How proud of you of the team?
I'm very proud. It's a great moment for me and for Helvecia, and I'm really happy.
I want to know, it was a really, really tight game first half. You guys got the opening goal just before half-time. What was your half-time team talk going into the second half to get that early goal in the second half?
To be honest, we didn't change anything. We just said the same plan that we have on the first half. We have it in the second half. We always come stronger on the second half. We knew that we're going to be stronger on the second half. And we be patient. We know that the goals are going to come, so the plan worked. We were confident about that, and it proved in the end.
Yeah, it did prove in the end. Obviously, the game was very high intensity, a lot of tasty challenges in there. How do you keep your team focused on playing their game and then working out the game plan eventually?
Well, sometimes it's very difficult on the heat of the moment. It's very difficult to control the players. But we've been working a lot on that. We knew that we need to be mentally strong. Whatever happened, it could easily be our team going one down, but we were prepared for that as well. And I think the guys, they did perfect.
Yeah. So last question, you're the FA nomination for the Champions League. How does that feel?
Great. I think we start working now, so we don't have time even to enjoy it. We need to start working on the Champions League, so it's an amazing feeling.
For sure, appreciate it. Congratulations. Go and celebrate, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Well, of course, the manager is pleased there. Let's have a look back at today's 3 results from the 3 matches today. So in the Women's Super Series, it was Bolton 2, London Helvecia 3. And in the Men's Series 2, it was Wessex 10 and London Escola 1. And as you've seen just here in the Men's Series 1 final, ProFutsal London 0, London Helvecia 4. Now, it's been a real eye-opener for me. I haven't followed ProFutsal before today, and to see these games, I can see why it's a growing sport.
Fastest growing sport in the world, played by 60 million. What you've seen today is futsal a sport in its own right, so people associate it with being a developmental, but at this end it's about performance. It's fast, it's quick, it's electric, goals, skills, it's got everything. And I think, like you say, hopefully for the new viewers that have seen this for the first time, they're enthralled, they're hooked, and joining the futsal family, right?
Well, I love it. I've seen technical ability, I've seen it all. And to everyone watching, I hope you've enjoyed it all. And until next time, we'll see you soon.